Hey, sports fans, Larry Eater here with Conversations with Larry. Our topic tonight is the USATF indoor that was held at the Ocean Breeze Athletic Complex on February 22nd and 23rd this past weekend, and it was fantabulous, stupendous, incredible. Where do I begin? So, on Saturday, the crowd was okay. It wasn't great, but it was okay. Probably 70% full. And we had we started out with the women's shot put. It was Chase Jackson and Maggie Ewan duking it out. Chase won in 1965. Chase, as you know, has had a superb indoor campaign so far. 2024, a new American record at the Copernicus Cup in Torun, Poland. I want to see her go 2068, 2069, and surpass Sarah Minton of Canada. Sarah has just been kicking butt. There's 4 women over 20 meters indoor season. So pretty cool stuff, huh? The men's final or the women's final of the pole vault. I wanted to talk with you about that too. Katie Moon took her 2 attempts at her first 2 jumps, and then she got over 480 and she won. And then she made 3 strong attempts at 490. And but she's not even going to China. Gabby Leon is the top vaulter. She finished second. I suspect she will go, and we'll see who else goes on. In the men's pole vault, Chris Nielsen just needed 570 to make the team. And our friend Sam Kendricks finished fourth. Now, Sam, he was taking 1 or 2 jumps every time to clear a height. Just didn't seem, all there. And then at 570, he slipped in the pit and ran the pole all the way across the pit. I think that unnerved him. So when he tried 575, it just didn't happen. He had 2 attempts at 575. And that's most unfortunate. But I wasn't sure if Sam was going to go to China or not. The 3000s were really interesting too. The women's 3000, let's start with that. The women's 3000, Shelby Houlihan led from the beginning. Now, you recall, Shelby's been banned for 4 years. She's just run a 420 mile and an 831 for the 3000. She looked to me like she was a little bit nervous during the race. And Nikki Hiltz and Whitney Morgan waited to the last 100, and boom, boom. Nikki got by. Whitney finished third. Nikki, they're not going to China, so it'll be Shelby and Whitney if they so choose. So we'll have to see how that works. And then in the men's 3000, our friend Hobbs Kessler was hoping to win his first USATF title. He was doing the 3000 and the 1500 like Nikki Hiltz. And in the 3000, he waited to the very last 200 and ran a 27.19 for that last 200 and just nipped Dylan Jacobs at the finish, 738.00 to 738.02, a new meet record for Hobbs Kessler. And Hobbs was pretty pumped, and he was on the way, right? As was Nikki. The final events of the evening for Saturday were the women's and men's 60 hurdles. In the women's 60 hurdles, Masai Russell, Olympic champion, who's had a splendiferous season this year. She has won every one of her races. She won the 60-meter title at the U.S. Indoors and continues to impress. Christina Clemens, who won in 2019, is going to be going too. I think we'll have 3 American women in the hurdles because the World Athletics rules are, because of the pandemic, winners from 219 and 220 can go on if they're rated in the top 50. And Christina, as you know, is rated 7th in the world. So awesome. On the men's 60-meter hurdles, the final event on Saturday, February 22nd, it was the Grant Holloway show, baby. Grant has won 80 60-meter hurdle races up until this weekend. His hurdle race in the heats was 81. His race at the end of Saturday evening in 7:36, equaling the world leader, was his 82nd win over the 60-meter hurdles. He has not lost a race since his senior year in high school, way back in 2011. Pretty impressive. And that's how Saturday ended. It was a wonderful day of track and field. Got to talk to Danny Mackey the day before and a few of the other coaches and check in with John Troutman and let's see, Tom Nohilly and Terrence Mahone was there. I love catching up with the coaches. It's really fun to do that. Sunday was fun day, kids. Sunday, really, well, you had the heptathlon, the pentathlon finished on Saturday, but the heptathlon finished on Sunday. That was won by Kyle Garland, and I got to tell you, he's impressive, and I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do in Nanjing. The women's high jump was a battle between, let's see, and I'm getting this right. Well, Vernon Turner on the men's side won at 225 from Elijah Kosiba at 222. Now, let's go back. We had the women's high jump, and this was interesting. Vashti Cunningham and Charity Hoffnagel, both at 194. This is Vashti's, I think, 16th national championship. She's won everything since 2016, right? Charity Hoffnagel equaled her PB. They both look good. It's going to take 201 to medal in Nanjing. So let's see. I think that Vashti could do it. I think Vashti could go 204. But it's going to be interesting to see, if she's motivated enough, right? The men's long jump, that was Will Williams. This is a fun one. So Cameron Crump, Marquise Dendy, Jeremiah Davis, all three leaped 8 meters. Then their next jump, all three leaped 8.01 meters. And then Will came out and dropped an 8:16 bomb and won the whole thing. Pretty cool, huh? Men's shot put, Ryan Krauser and Joe Kovacs were not there, but Trip Pippery, 2150, Roger Steen, 2128, and Josh Awatunde, 2105, were the top three in the men's shot. The women's 400 flat, excuse me. Alexis Holm, 50.51. Alexis broke her meet record there. Rosie Effiong, 51.43. Quinera Hayes, 51.47. I always joke about Quinera because the woman is always ready for a national championship. She may have absolutely bomb races beforehand, but that woman knows how to peak for national champs. Let's see where we at. We had the men. No, we didn't. So let's do the men's 400. The men's 400, Chris Bailey looked spectacular. 45.21. Yakari Peterson, 45.60. Elijah Goodwin, 46.09. Brian Faust, 46.11. Quincy Wilson, 46.13. It went all the way down to Quincy to go to Nanjing, and Quincy's not going. He said he's got too many important things with school. And I'm kind of impressed with the man. I got to tell you. Women's 800, Nia Akins back on the winning trail. She had kind of a challenging season last year after winning the Olympic trials. She left the Brooks Beast. Now she's running for Hoka, and her races have been okay, but she set a PB, 159.31, to win the 800 from Valerie Tobias, former teammate at Brooks Beast, 159.55. Sage Herta Klecker, 200.13. And Sage ran a PB as well, but a really deep women's 800. And then on the men's 800 size, Dynamo Hum. Wow. Josh Huey won 324, the number 2 time ever, just behind Wilson Kipketer in 1997. Josh got the national record and the world leader. He led from start to finish. He reminds me of Glenn Cunningham, the famous runner from the 1930s. Okay, go on YouTube and look him up, okay? You can handle it. Brandon Miller was second in a PB of 144.26. Brandon is like the little engine that could. He is just so tough. I love watching him run. And he scored a PB 144.26. I think it's the number 5 all time in the U.S. That was a PB. Wes Ferguson in third, 144.92. His second time under 145, and he's now got a contract. He's a professional athlete. Pretty cool, huh? Isaiah Harris was fourth, 145.64 equal his PB. And let's get in here. Now, the women's 1500. Wow, that was deep. Shelby Houlihan, Heather McLean, Sinclair Johnson, Nikki Hiltz. Nikki Hiltz is the star of the show. They have a kick that's out of this world. It's world class. If Nikki had decided to go to China, I could have picked Nikki for at least one medal, possibly two. But Nikki's not going to China. Nikki won in 405.76. When Nikki took off, the party was over. Sinclair Johnson, 406.05 PB. Heather McLean, 406.69 from New Balance. And then Shelby Houlihan in fourth in 406.82. So Shelby in her first championship back after 4 years of being away is going to go to China in the 3000. I just don't know how deep it is in the women's 1500. And we'll be able to tell you that in the next 24 hours. Let's get back and see what we got here. Now, we got three more events. The men's 1500. Could Hobbs Kessler, the first American to make the Olympic team in the 800 and 1500 since 1976. And who was that? That was Rick Wolhuter, University of Chicago Track Club. He was coached by Ted Hayden. But Hobbs has just been running incredibly well this year. He ran a 7:35 3000. He told me he could have run a 7:28. He ran a 3:46.90 mile right behind Yernik Goose over at Milrose. And now he comes back here and he ran his race. And in winning, he ran a 3:38.82. Sam Prakel was right on him at 3:39.14. Hobbs got I thought he got the meet record, but they're not showing that right now. Sam Prakel was second. Luke Hauser, Atlanta Track Club, 3:39.27. Now, Hobbs is not going to China. So it's probably Sam and Luke. So that's pretty impressive for those guys, right? And then it finished with the men and women's 60. In the women's 60, Aaliyah Hobbs had pulled out earlier in the week. It came down to Solera Barnes and Josiah Sears. Solera 7-1-1, Josiah 7-1-1, Micaiah Briscoe 7-1-8, and Yeda Baylark 7-24. But I'm pretty sure it'll be Solera and Josiah going to Nanjing. The final event of the weekend was the men's 60. Ronnie Baker lived up to the favorite status. He went 6:52. Kobe Hilton 6:58. Emmanuel Wells 6:58. Marcellus Moore 6:59. I suspect it's Ronnie Emmanuel going to China. But again, I'll find out tomorrow when all the shakedown on the entry list is done. They have to have it to World Athletics by tomorrow. I do know that Marcel Jacobs, the Italian stallion, the 2021 Olympic champion, is not going to Nanjing. He cites having had the flu for a couple of weeks after the New Balance in meet. I think he got sick around Milrose. So that will be lacking. But I think Nanjing is going to be strong. But next week is the European Indoors, and we will be talking about that on an upcoming conversation with Larry. That is March 6th through 9th, and RunBlogRun's going to be there. This is Larry Eater for RunBlogRun. Have a great evening, people.